Welcome to Season 9, Episode 34 of the Ubuntu Podcast. In this episode, we're going to discuss our Things Explainer competition. We'll also have some command line love and go over your feedback. I'm Emma, and joining me this week are Mark.
Hello.
Alan.
Hello.
And Martin.
Hello.
So, what have we been up to since last time, Mark?
I went on holiday to Barcelona.
Barcelona? What did you do there?
I saw lots of things built by Gaudi.
Yep.
And I went to a science museum with an indoor rainforest.
Ooh.
And I ate lots of nice food.
How long were you there?
4 days. 5 nights.
Lovely. Very nice too.
Yes.
Was it hot?
It was quite pleasant. About 24 degrees Celsius.
Just about right then.
What's that in American money?
I think it's
70 something.
70 something. I don't really do those ones, I'm afraid. Sorry.
Well, I don't really do Celsius, so whatever.
Well, you told me it was 80 degrees where you are earlier, and I thought that you were like on fire.
That's 26, I think. I looked it up.
Okay, cool.
Well,
so it was slightly under 80 degrees when I was on holiday, although there was a very cool thunderstorm. So that was nice as well.
Cool.
But yes.
How about you, Martin?
I have been mostly fixing bugs for Ubuntu 16.10 and Ubuntu Mate 16.10, which hopefully by the time you listen to this is out, and 42% of the Ubuntu users are now running Ubuntu 16.10.
What type of bugs? Like any doozies, as they say?
I've mostly been doing theme stuff, so I've been working on fixing some theme issues in LibreOffice and Firefox, and I've fixed some bugs that have been SIU'd, things that crash GIMP, for example, and stuff like that. So the crashing GIMP one's quite a good one. That's been around for a long, long time. That's about 5 years old. And there was another one that's been around for donkey's years. Oh, the status bar in Nautilus now doesn't obscure the last element of the list view.
Oh, that's annoyed me for so long.
So, I fixed that.
Oh, thanks. We should pay you for that.
Good job.
Yeah, I know. It'd be good, wouldn't it?
Well, how about you, Alan?
No, not much.
That is exciting.
Yeah. Should we get on with it?
All right.
Right. Well, we haven't done one of these for a while, but we thought we'd have a competition.
Woohoo!
Yay.
Don't get too excited, Martin. So our prize in this competition, we have a copy of both What If and Thing Explainer by Randall Munroe, who is the creator of XKCD, the famous webcomic, and both copies are signed by the author.
Wow.
Explain how you got these.
I went to a talk by Randall Munroe, and there was a book signing afterwards.
Did you have to stand in a very long line in order to get them signed?
Yes, he stayed extra long just to make sure everyone got his book signed. He was very nice.
Oh.
He said he didn't mind because he worked it out in person hours, and he spent less person hours than we all did.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
So what are these two books?
So What If is described as ridiculous ideas explained in intense scientific detail. So this is where people have written into him and said things like, what would happen if all my DNA vanished? Or what would happen if I tried to hit a baseball pitched at 90% the speed of light? And then he's done like really detailed scientific research and spoken to experts and worked out the maths and described what would actually happen, assuming that this was possible in the first place.
Right, that's just gone on my Christmas list. That sounds brilliant.
Very good. And it's like, he says, here's the things you take into account and here's the equation. And you sort of look at it and you say, okay, and then you just read it. But it's all really easy to understand. He does it in a very good way.
Okay, so that's What If, and there's another book. What's the other
Thing
one?
Explainer. Now, Thing Explainer, he did a comic called Upgoer 5, where he took the Saturn V rocket and explained it using only the 1,000 most commonly used words in English, or as he had to say, the 1,000 most commonly used words in English.
Oh, because 1,000 isn't one of them.
1,000 isn't one of them.
Brilliant.
And so he's got all sorts of like diagrams and interesting things. So he's got like a nuclear power plant. He's got an animal cell, your like digestive and circulatory systems, and it's all explained. Like it starts off with a description of the thing and a name which only uses these words, and then a labeled diagram explaining what each bit of the system or machine does using only these simple words. And it's very good.
Cool. So we're having a competition to win both of those.
Both of those
signed
books.
by Randall Munro himself. Where do you have to be, and what do you have to do? And tell us all the details, Mark.
Right. Well, you have to be somewhere you can hear this podcast. That would help. It's only a couple of books. I'm sure that I can ship them pretty much wherever they need to go.
You're going to get entries from Belize.
Well, those, I don't know where Belize is. It sounds like it's in France. Is it from further than France?
The only reason why Belize is a country that's at the forefront of my mind is because it's the only other country, I think, in the world that uses the same date format as America.
Okay.
For some reason. I don't know why.
Stop making fun of our metrics. Gosh.
Sorry.
Anyway, so yeah, basically wherever you are, you can win these books by sending us the following thing to competition@ubuntupodcast.org. That email address does exist, right?
If it doesn't, by the time you listen to this, it does.
Yes. Okay, good. Sorry, we used to use the old domain with that address, and I just realised that it might not exist on the new domain.
Martin.
So what we want you to do is we want you to describe your job using only the 1,000 most common English words. And
It's actually, we're going to stipulate it's the 100 most common English words, right?
Sorry?
Isn't the list we've got the 100 most? No, it's 1,000. Okay, fair enough.
Okay. No, I don't think you'd be able to do it with the 100 most common.
It would just be so.
Yeah. So to help you out, there is a website called the Upgoer 5 text editor where you can type in what you're trying to say and it'll tell you if you use a word you're not allowed to. So we will have that link in the show notes. So what we want you to do is write a description of your job in this text editor and then email it to us at competition@ubuntupodcast.org, and we will pick our favourite and we will announce the winner on the show. Should we do it on the next show, or do we want to?
I would say we give it a little while before.
Okay, so maybe a month or so. We'll maybe the next recording we do will tell you when the deadline is.
Yeah. We'll remind you in one of the upcoming shows and give you a deadline then.
Also worth noting, if you don't have a job, then perhaps you might want to write what your dream job would be.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Even if you do have a job, you could write what your dream job would be. Either one of those.
Yeah. If you don't like your job or you don't have a job, write what your dream job would be. If you like your job,
else's job,
write what your actual job is.
Right.
Cool. So we thought we'd help you out a bit. So to get you started, we did a description of our own jobs.
Is that what we're going to call it?
So I'm going to start off and I'm going to try and describe my job to you using only the 1,000 most common English words. So here's what I do. I write words that are read by a computer. Students who want to learn about something ask their computer for part of a book. Their computer talks to another computer over phone lines, and that computer uses the words I've written to send them the book part they want. Sometimes students want new types of book parts that they can use to share their learning with other students. I have to work out the right words for the computer to let them do this and write them. When I can, I share my words with other people so that their computers can send better book parts to their students.
Brilliant. That's just excellent.
I think what we need is when the listeners do this, after you've written your description in the 1,000 most common English words, then actually put what your actual job title or job title is underneath, just so we can be clear.
I think we could just guess that.
Well,
I think
we probably
that could be a competition for us to try and guess that.
Okay.
Okay, I'll go next. I talk to people about computer things to help make the stuff that they make and the stuff that we make better.
Awesome.
I also sometimes write things that the computer gets, but I'm not great at that. We give away... What the hell does this mean? We give away a lot of the things we make, which is not like the way some other people share their work. It makes me happy inside that we do this.
Oh, wow.
I don't understand one of those lines.
I don't understand it, and I typed it.
Also, I sometimes write things that the computer gets, but I am not great at that.
I write programs sometimes.
Oh, and the computer
I
doesn't
write stuff
get
the computer
it.
gets.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
I tried to write understands, but I couldn't.
Yeah, you can't do that. No.
Go on, Martin.
Okay.
Show us how it's done.
I help write a group of books the computer reads and stores. These books make the computer work much better. When a computer has stored the books I make, you can do things with your computer, like write to people and send what you wrote to the other people's computers. Or you can ask your computer to talk to other computers to learn things, look at moving pictures, listen to music, or buy shopping. The group of books I help write are free for anyone to give to their computer. You are also free to change these books and share those changes with anyone. This way, everyone can help make the books even better so your computer can do more for you.
That's really good.
I like that. Okay. Emma,
Okay.
tell us about your job.
I help people change their computer to something better. I fix things that are broken and make people happy again. I talk to a lot of people about computers all day. I put my heart into every conversation so people feel like they are talking with a human instead of speaking with a pretend human.
Yeah, I often feel I'm talking to pretending humans.
Very good. I was searching around at one point for a word and pretend would have done, and I couldn't find it. Well done.
Yeah, I didn't...
So there you go.
That was harder than I thought, guys.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's some inspiration for you. I'm sure you can do better.
So just as a recap, describe your job or dream job using only the 1,000 most common English words. Use upgoer 5 to help you type your text. Send it to us, competition@ubuntupodcast.org. We'll pick our favourite and announce the winner on the show. If we have a lot of these, we're going to have a lot of these to read out. Which maybe we may not read them all out on the show, but you could be sure we
we'll
will
definitely read out
them
our
all.
favourites.
Could we get the
Yes.
speech synthesis of a child to audio record these so we could just play them back that way?
I don't know. I can maybe get my son to read a couple of them. That might sound weird.
My
but yeah.
daughter would dig it.
Sweet. Yes. We'll see. We'll see what sounds best because it might just sound weird.
I cannot wait.
Brilliant. Have we covered everything?
I think we have. Good luck.
Awesome.
Oh, it's me. I'm sorry. Miles away. I'm still looking at those ridiculous explanations of what we do. Right, command line. It's command line love. This week's command line love is dir-env, and it's an environment switcher for the shell. What this does, it allows you to load or unload environment variables depending on the directory that you're in. So instead of filling your .profile with a load of environment variables, you can have them context aware in directories, and it supports bash, fish, and the tiny C shell and ZSH. It's in the archive, so you can just apt install dir-env. And the way I use this is I have a number of different projects that I work on. So Debian and Ubuntu Mate and my own stuff and things for other people. And I need to use different email addresses and GPG signing keys in Git and Bazaar and all the rest of it. So in each of my directories, I have this envarc file. And as I enter these directories, it automatically imports those environment variables, changing my email addresses and what have you to be used in these different programs.
Oh, that's clever.
So, if you have a directory, you just create a .envrc directory in there. There's some protection there as well. So DIRM you have to allow that directory to use it, and it will hash and store that encrypted hash so that you can't then someone can't then maliciously edit that file and inject bad stuff into it. And then as you change into that directory, any environment variables that are defined there automatically get picked up and assigned. And as it happens, it prints out a little display of the environment variables that have been added and changed and those that have been unloaded. And it's inherited as well. So if you've got them inside directory trees on top of one another, it will aggregate them all and what have you.
Cool.
Yeah, it's extremely useful. So I got the idea from one of the guys I work with now, who uses ZSH, and he's got his own ZSH functions for doing this. And then I found there's a tool that does it for you.
Sweet. Awesome.
You can find out more at dirm.net.
We love getting your feedback, so please send it to us. Even the pointlessly mean stuff makes us laugh. If it's short, tweet us on @Ubuntu Podcast. If it's less short, but please no essays, email us on show@ubuntupodcast.org. If you'd like to discuss some of the things we talk about with other listeners, post on our shiny new subreddit at reddit.com/r/Ubuntu Podcast. Or you can just leave a comment on the relevant show notes on our website, ubuntupodcast.org.
And now it's time for some of that lovely feedback. We've had lots of feedback on how you're using your Raspberry Pis after we asked you to send us some. And so we've had to pick some of it because we got tons of it. We do read it all, but we got a lot. So let's dive in and read some of it. N. Curley left a comment on the website saying,
When you asked about Raspberry Pi projects, sent it to clubframboise.ca members, but people are so busy with their Raspberry Pi projects they haven't answered, making Catapult-based sensor-savvy egg to do physics experiments, helping Cameroonian schools appropriate the platform, and teaching people to code through robotics. One of my uses is as a server to create open educational resources through Pressbooks, a book creation platform built on WordPress. Also used it to do presentations in Reveal.js and used the Skywriter hat to switch slides. Those do qualify as educational uses.
Sweet. Thank you very much for that. Bibbit left a comment on the website.
I have a Pi that I begged my wife to get me for my birthday at least 2 years ago. I don't know what model it is, but I knew I wanted one.
No, never.
I never knew I wanted one. I just knew I wanted it. It's gathered dust ever since, waiting like the one ring in Bilbo's Care for its chance. I plan to emigrate to Sweden by the end of the year, and our house has a big cellar and lots of sheds, and I have permission to start a beer and wine making operation. Now I can finally use the Pi along with an Arduino to initiate a brew Pi project. I cannot wait. Given the booze prices in Sweden, that little board will make its money back in no time. And you can find out more about Brew Pi from brewpi.com.
Awesome.
Yeah.
24 Flinching posted on our subreddit /r/Ubuntu Podcast.
My first Raspberry Pi was a Pi 1 Model B, and it collected dust. Years later, I heard a lot about the Raspberry Pi 2 being much better, and so that piqued my interest, but I didn't get into it till I was trying to find a solution to a problem. I'm a big fan of movies and travel a lot. A laptop is not the greatest place to store your entire movie collection, and the 15-inch screen is not the best for displaying it. So in short, I found out about Kodi and its Pi versions. Grabbed a 2-terabyte hard drive, overpowered the USB ports to power the hard drive, and made myself a mini entertainment system.
That's fantastic.
Fantastic.
I like that.
Yeah.
Sonorandragon posted on our subreddit.
I'm a librarian who works in the IT department of a large county library system in Arizona. The county itself is large, bigger than some East Coast states here in the US. We had a county-wide digital signage system spread over all our branches that used to be powered by Windows boxes with a lousy server running a severely outdated version of Red Hat. The entire system was showing its age, and one day it finally stopped working. So I worked out a way to replace every digital sign, big screen monitors, in our system using Raspberry Pis on the monitors and backed out by an older but reliable server running the latest Ubuntu.
Woohoo.
The entire system was replaced at a cost of 10% of the original, and it not only works better, but it's easier to use and quite stable. It's a total of 18 Pis in 17 buildings, and they're all managed over the browser or through SSH.
That's fantastic. I
What a
love that.
brilliant
Super
project.
Yeah. Wow. Eduardo Sanchez mailed show@ubuntupodcast.org.
I use a Raspberry Pi 3 and a Pi Top seat at work tethered to my iPhone via USB. I use it to check email, SSH into my home boxes, and light web surfing during my lunch break. It really helps me segregate work-related and non-work browsing. And yes, it is running Ubuntu Mate. Thanks, Martin. That's enough pie for now.
Daniel left a comment on our website.
The G402 mouse is also capable of remembering macro functions in its own memory. I have the G8 button still bound to Control+W for a previous Windows install, which is the best shortcut in the universe. Unfortunately, not enough people are complaining to Logitech, so Linux users will still need access to Windows or a Mac utility software to set up their macros beforehand. And Daniel also went on to ask about a pull request that he's interested in for Kaja, the Mate file manager. Daniel, one of the Mate developers has purchased a 5-button mouse this very day, and that pull request will be reviewed and tested now and hopefully merged very soon.
Excellent. Adrian left a comment on the website.
Hi, I would very much like to try an Ubuntu phone. The problem is that money is not exactly a commodity we have to spare. I use technology and developing as a lifesaver and a way to keep sane while all around me is chaos. Which device do you feel would be best for me to use? It's something I would have to save up for, so the latest tablet, while something I would love, is out of the question. Any advice and suggestions would be gratefully received.
You could go for, if budget is the primary concern and you want to just have a play with it, then I would say a Nexus 4 or a Nexus 7 2013. If you can find one, and you want a phone and not a tablet, then you could go for the BQ E4.5.
You sometimes see the E5s on eBay as well.
Yes, both of those tend to pop up on eBay. The others, the Meizu MX4 and the Pro 5, are a little bit on the higher end of the pricing. So, probably the Nexuses, I would think. Aaron Christiansen, I think, posted on the subreddit.
You mentioned my email. I was just wondering where this list of command line lervs are found. I'd like to take a look.
In a secret lab somewhere.
Yes, they're hidden away, locked in a vault until we dig them out.
So there is a list on the old website up until a certain point. So that's podcast.ubuntu-uk.org. There is a page there for command line love. Beyond that, that page was made by a listener listening through our shows and creating a list as they listen through from the show notes. So if any other listeners would like to do that from our later seasons, then please let us know.
And you don't even have to listen through, because all you got to do is go to each post, every other post, every even numbered post on the website,
Should have one.
The command line love is like right there in the text. So we're not going to subject you to listening to hours and hours of us driveling on. You could just read some text. That would be easier. Also, John Spriggs sent us a command line love, which has been stored for safekeeping in that vault, the vault of love. Silas Wolf also sent us a command line love that we will never ever speak of.
Oh my.
Simon Hogg emailed show@ubuntupodcast.org.
I have just purchased a brand new Nexus 7 to try out Ubuntu Touch, but have run into a bit of an issue. I get an error after running the following command: Ubuntu device + touch tac chow equals
blah,
Ubuntu
blah.
chat blah 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 blah. Can you help?
Possibly, yes. So I had this very similar problem when trying to flash my Nexus 7. Mine is the LTE version, so you can put a SIM card in it, which isn't the officially supported version, but you can get it working. What I had to do was do the bootstrap flash, and then I had to format and reflash the boot and recovery images, and then reflash it again, and it worked. If you're using the LTE version, then the actual image that you use is from UB ports rather than the official image, and we will include a link in the show notes to the thread where it has the boot and recovery images to download and the full instructions that I used to get it working.
Awesome.
Yes.
Christoph or Chris Kuska emailed the show.
So this
in
was
response to a link we previously discussed about privacy concerns with Ubuntu Touch. Sorry.
I've installed Ubuntu Touch on Nexus 4, and from my point of view, the opinions in the previously sent link are not standing at the time of my writing. A clean install gives a good privacy level, which can be tightened easily with the available settings. Ubuntu Touch is now my daily driver, and it works very good for my use cases. After 2 weeks, I had to do only one reboot because of Telegram not loading for some reason. Except for that, I'm impressed by the level of maturity and look forward to further improvements with the next updates.
Excellent.
Grey Panther left a comment on the website.
Hi Laura, hope everything is okay. You'll be sorely missed, and I really hope to hear you again in the future on the podcast. And those words were echoed by many, many others as well. Thank you for all the kind words.
Yes, thank everyone for your feedback.
That's all for episode 34. We'll be back next week when we'll have more news, comments, and discussion.
Awesome.
Excellent.
Thank you for joining us, Emma.
Yay.
It's
Yes,
been
thank you,
lovely
Emma.
having you here.
Thank you for having me.
We'll have you back, I think. Yes?
I hope so.
We'll
You
have
don't-
to schedule
You don't
that
get a
in.
choice. You know. It's not an option.
And next week we have another surprise guest presenter.
Well, it's not a surprise now, is it?
Well, okay, we have a guest presenter. Surprise!
Go on, Emma, you tell us to stop recording.
Stop recording.